What's up, Bulls Nation? You found yourselves locked on Bulls. I'm Matt. That's Big Dave. Up ahead on today's episode, the Bulls bounce back, and they bounce back pretty convincingly. They destroy the Detroit Pistons 133-87 to get back in the win column after falling to Dallas on Sunday. We got a lot to break down. We got to talk about the rook Ayo Dosunmu, who had a huge game, really changed the pace for the Bulls after a slow start. We got to talk about just how balanced of a team this was tonight. Vooch bounced back with a strong third quarter after continuing his struggles from Sunday in the first half. And Zach LaVine, quiet night for him, but he did all the things that he needed to do for this team to get a W. And his coach, Billy Donovan, knows that's all that matters. That's all ahead on a fresh Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up, and welcome in to Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave Watson at BAWL Sports. You can follow us at Locked On Bulls, and also hit us up on that text and voicemail line whenever you feel like it, whenever your heart desires, at 331-979-1369. Big Dave.
Hello.
Biggest margin of victory for the Bulls in their entire historic rivalry with the Detroit Pistons. 46-point victory. That's how you bounce back after a tough loss.
That's what you call a beating, Matt. Like, it's really no other way to say it. That is a beating of epic proportions. And that's exactly kind of what we discussed, what we wanted to see. You know, we just wanted to see them bounce back, play well against a team that we think they're better than. And, you know, it started a little shaky for them. And then they just they were like, wait a minute, we're the Bulls.
Right.
Like, we're at home. We're good this year. Okay. So let's go ahead and wipe the floor with these dudes and go sit down in the fourth quarter because we got two huge games coming up.
Right. And look, we talked about it in our previous episode, looking at this matchup. The Pistons have been playing well of late. They were 4-2 in January coming into this game, including wins over Milwaukee and Utah. But that win over the Jazz was the night prior. So the Pistons were on the second night of a back-to-back and just not a talented team as the Bulls. So on paper, with the Pistons being on a back-to-back, the Bulls being the better team, you'd think here's an easy W. But that first quarter was a struggle, man. It really was. The Bulls looked lazy. They looked like they just kind of waltzed in thinking that it was going to be an easy victory, and the Pistons kind of punched them in the mouth a little bit. And to me, the thing that changed this game was Billy Donovan giving Derrick Jones Jr. a quick hook early in the first quarter and putting Ayo Dosunmu in there. And then shortly after Ayo checks in, Billy sends in Troy Brown Jr. And the defensive level of intensity that those two guys in particular got attention of their teammates. We're like, hey, guys, let's maybe play some defense, and then we'll run these guys off the floor. Huge credit to Ayo and Troy for the way that they shifted that energy when they checked in the first quarter.
Absolutely true. Two things I want to say here. One, I thought the game was over in the second quarter when I can't remember who it was on Detroit. They went up and tried to dunk all over. I think it was Kobe White or I can't remember who it was. Yeah, it was Kobe White. Yeah, tried to end his life. Tried to dunk all over him. When he misses the dunk, they come right back down. And Kobe White for a corner three. The very next possession they miss, they come back down. Kobe White gets fouled. He goes to the line. He scores two. They come back and they miss again, then they go back down and score again. That's a quick 7-0 run right after that. It felt like that woke them up more than it woke up Detroit. And after that, when they started doing that run, I was like, the game's pretty much over. But to get to it individually, yes, Troy Brown Jr., man, when he came in the game, he changed it all. He has found his footing with this team. We've been waiting for it too, Matt. You know, we talked about how he looked when he first started the season as far as, shooting the three, being that 3-and-D guy. And it would look solid. And then he kind of disappeared. Of course, he went through COVID like everyone else and those kind of things. But he kind of disappeared. We didn't see him as much in the rotation. He wasn't even in there like that.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know when we're going to see him again. It feels like he took that to heart, found out exactly where he needed to, things he needed to work on and develop a little bit more, as far as defense is concerned, because it feels like defense is what's going to get you in. It's not your offense. It feels like,
Right.
especially on the bench, it's going to be your defense. It feels like he changed and focused more on that, his length, his athleticism, and using his quickness and things like that. You saw that tonight, man, with the steals he had, because he had 3 steals like this,
Mhm.
and it was all impactful for the team, man. So yeah, big shout out to Troy Brown Jr. and what he did tonight.
I believe Troy finished with a career high, 6 steals on the night. He also had
Wow.
5 assists and 7 boards, just like doing a
Mm.
little bit of everything. And look,
Mhm.
you mentioned him kind of coming in and out of the rotation. Right now, the Bulls are missing 2 guys in Javonte Green and Alex Caruso, who, when they
Yeah.
return, you're probably not seeing Troy Brown Jr. get 25 minutes like he did tonight.
Right.
Those guys
Right.
are both going to be ahead of Troy Brown Jr. in the rotation. At least that's what I would assume with an educated guess based on what we've seen from Billy so far as we near the halfway mark of this season. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, and that doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is when those guys have been out, as they have been for this recent stretch of games, and Troy Brown Jr. is called upon, he is proving that he can be the perfect definition of next man up kind of guy. If he is needed and he is called upon, he will deliver for you. And even to the magnitude of a game like tonight, where his presence, along with Ayo's, really turned the tide in the Bulls' favor when they were really sluggish coming out of the gate. So hats off to Troy Brown Jr. But man, just another thought or two on Ayo Dosunmu, Big Dave. He was talking with Adam and Stacey about it after the game. He continued to talk about it at the podium post game. He has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder too. This is a team full of dudes with chips on shoulders. And tonight, he was going head to head with a dude in Cade Cunningham, who was the number 1 overall pick. 37 picks later, the Bulls take Ayo Dosunmu, and Ayo's the type of dude who said, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to shut Cade Cunningham down because screw that. Like, I should have been the number 1 pick. And look, Cade Cunningham had an okay night. Nobody on the Pistons really played all that well tonight. What did Cade end with? 8, 7, and 3. That one play in particular where Cade tried to go coast to coast in transition, and Ayo was in his grill the whole way, the entire length of the floor, and it ends with Ayo not fouling, going up with Cade when he goes up, contesting him, and Cade just throws the ball randomly to no one out of bounds, turnover, ball back the other way for the Bulls. It was just one little moment of a greater example all night long of Ayo's defense also being there, just like he's showing that he's confident to put buckets in on the other end.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a coincidence anymore. Before it was like, wow, he did a solid job, against that point guard. And now you come to expect it like, wait a minute, he's trying to do something, man. Where Ayo? Get Ayo in the game. Let's shut him down.
Really put him in there with like less than 4 minutes in. He was like, Ayo, get out there. Get out there.
Yeah. He's like, okay, coach. And immediately gave a spark to that starting. I mean, immediately gave them a spark. And watching that and just on the side, it's kind of, again, why I miss Javonte Green, because he's kind of like that. He's that spark that they need when they're running that in the offense. Nothing against Derrick Jones Jr. at all. It's just that's what Javonte Green provides, and that's why he starts over Derrick Jones Jr. But you saw Ayo do that immediately, Matt, when he came into the game. Boom, comes in, gets the ball on the baseline, goes in, hits that layup. You know what I'm saying, off the glass. That 3-pointer shot from the corner. The Bulls shoot the best 3-point shots from the corner than any team in the league. Their percentage is better than any team in the league when they're shooting from the corner, and Ayo is a big part of that too.
Right.
Hit that also. So he did it on the offensive side. And then, like you said, he put another point guard in Ayo jail, and Cade Cunningham, and just completely he just discombobulates guys when he's out there. He makes them upset, man. And it's just so much fun to watch. It just really is. It's so much fun to watch because, again, it's another game where you just forget that this kid is a rookie and this is his first year. And I didn't even think about that till you said it, Matt, about him coming in with the chip on the shoulder because it's the first pick in the draft, and he's coming in, with a little extra boost and a little energy. I didn't even think of it like that, but you're absolutely right because that's just how he played.
And speaking of how quickly we forget that Ayo's a rookie because he plays with such confidence and such calm. second time this season tonight. First time it happened against the Pacers before DeRozan hits the buzzer beater. The second time, Ayo sees DeMar getting upset with one of the officials and sees DeMar on his way to getting a tech, and Ayo runs over and drags DeMar away from the official that he's jawing at. And to think that this is a guy who is 10 years Ayo's senior, DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's 32, whatever, and Ayo's a 21-year-old rookie. The level of mutual respect that already exists between the vets on this team and the young guys on this team, and Ayo in particular, if you want to single him out, the way that he has showed us in these examples of saying, hey, DeMar, we need you, buddy. We need you. You don't see a whole lot of rookies doing that to a vet who's 10, who's got a dozen years of experience over them in the NBA. But we saw DeMar going down for Ayo's honorary night at U of I last week. Like, that mutual respect exists between these guys, whether they're 21 or 32, and it's awesome to see that.
And you know what it taught me, Matt? You know exactly what that said to me, that there are absolutely no egos on this team. There is no real star like that in the league who will allow a rookie to come up to him and do that multiple times without him checking him or saying something to him. You don't see it. And that's why we're sitting here talking about it, because it's not the norm. Those guys usually be like, hey, man, don't be coming up on me like that. I got it. You've seen it a bunch of times. Them checking rookies like, hey, man, you're getting beside yourself. You're getting out of pocket. You're getting out of the box. Not on this team. There are no egos, man. They are right when they say that stuff. Zero. Because I promise you, no rookie will be allowed to do that on another team in the NBA, man. But it's happening here, and it's good because it's necessary. And I appreciate DeMar DeRozan being able to take that direction and be like, you know what? You're right. I'm tripping. Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got lots more to get to. We got to talk about Vucevic's big third quarter. I also have a thought or two on Lonzo Ball, and then we also got to talk about Zach's quiet but still deadly night. We will do all that up ahead. But first, Big Dave, tell the people how they can have some fun with that little thing called PrizePicks.
Oh, PrizePicks, Matt. You know what you want to do. You want your daily fantasy made easy. And who does that for you? PrizePicks does that for you. How do I know this? Because I'm telling you this. They have the best NBA DFS prop game in the market. Did you hear what I said? The best in the market. They offer more NBA props than any other DFS prop operator and offers all the superstar players as well as the bench players, only recording a handful of minutes for each game. PrizePicks offers any prop you can think of, y'all. Think of a prop. You want to say points? Boom, gotcha. What do you think about 3-pointers? Boom, gotcha. How about 3-pointers made, though? Boom, gotcha. Rebounds? Let me toss that in there just cuz. And any other one that you can think of. Now, all the users that deposit and use your promo code will receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Come on, man. And all you got to do to get that, y'all, is use that promo code. That promo code is NBA. Oh, this is what you need to do to use it, y'all. So go to prizepicks.com today. Don't wait. Go there today and use that promo code NBA and go to your app store and download the app, because PrizePicks, y'all, is your daily fantasy made easy.
All right, moving along, breaking down this Bulls win over the Pistons from Tuesday night. Big Dave, my Twitter feed in the first half of this game looked real familiar, and it was a lot of Bulls fans who were not happy with one particular center by the name of Nikola Vucevic. Look, Vuce struggled against Dallas. A lot of people calling him out for his defense in particular. He was put in jail in that drop coverage a lot against Luka and the Mavs, and he was doing that thing he does in the first half of this game where he's missing open looks. He's just missing. He had a brain fart on a couple of bunnies around the rim. He had a really bad turnover where he actually had two bad turnovers tonight, both of which it looked like he was just miscommunicating with one of his teammates who was trying to make a cut. And you just think, oh man, it's another Vooch game. It's another bad Vooch game. We're going to have to deal with the Vooch haters and the Vooch doubters, and they're loud. They are loud. And look, some of you are probably listening and watching this podcast right now. And then the third quarter came, and I said, oh, thank you, Vooch. Thank you for absolving me of having to deal with yet another evening of the Vooch sucks crowd. Look, did Vooch play poorly in Dallas? Yeah. Did he play poorly in the first half of this game? Yeah. Then the third quarter came. The decisive game of this, the decisive quarter of this game, where the Bulls they started on like a 17-0 run out of the gate in the third quarter. They put this team away, and in that quarter, Vooch outscored the Pistons by himself, 16-14. Hitting shots all over the floor, grabbing rebounds, made a nice pass. Like, he was like, oh, good Vooch is back. Look, I'll admit, it's frustrating. Bad Vooch, good Vooch. Bad Vooch, good Vooch. But as you and I have stated multiple times, on most nights, even when his shot's not falling, there are other things that make him useful on the floor. That's the only danger area that I don't want to see us get to, where there are certain stretches, and I think that the first half of this game against Detroit would qualify, where you're like, man, everything Vooch is doing out there right now is just upsetting. But credit to him for that third quarter, though.
And it's funny, I would have been right in line with the Vooch doubters and the guys who were upset with him. I would have been right in line if he had continued that on, because again, when I watch Vooch, Matt, it's not so much the shots he misses, because people miss shots. For me, it's the way you miss the shot and then what you do on defense. Like, those are the things I'm looking at with Vooch, because when he was starting to slump, we talked about it here. We weren't mad he was missing shots. Them shots were shots he hits all the time. It wasn't like he was throwing them in the ocean or nothing like that. They just weren't dropping. That's fine. They're rimming out. That's fine. These shots were brick union layers, all right? Those were just bricks, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like that gif of the octopus using all of his various tentacles to build the brick wall. Like,
yeah, man. Exactly, man. Like that cartoon. Yes, that's exactly what it was. Man, dude, it was like, and that's when I was like, wait a minute, what is this? That's when I started getting like, dude, what are you doing? And then I'm watching him on defensive end, like, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? And then I started getting upset. And I'm talking to my friend Dre from the Awesome Podcast, According to Sources. And I'm just like, man, look, dude, this is crazy. Like, what is going on with him? And then Vooch came out in the second quarter. And I was like, okay. He started looking a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, okay, that looks a little bit better. He's kind of getting it together. Then the third quarter happened. And I told my boy Dre, I was like, he did that for me. Because, because I was ready to go in. And he knows I don't like yelling at him. He was like, but I was ready to go in on this show about Nikola Vucevic. And he was like, don't worry about it, Big Dave. I got you. And I was like, good looking out, Vooch, man. Because I was about to serve you up a little bit. 16 in the third quarter. And you said it right, Matt. Did it in just a wide array of various amount of ways. He did it in, man. The three-point shot, posting up. Did you see him repost? I saw the first repost from Vooch, like I've seen all season, man. I was like, dude, like he reposted it. Oh my God, this is amazing. So yeah, he did it in the post, Matt. He did it with the jumper. He did it with the baby hook. He did it with the pump fake at the three-point line, go to the bucket, then score. He did it in so many ways, and it was just great to see him actually get that click, because you see how dangerous the Bulls are and how really, truly dangerous they are when Nikola Vucevic is on. It's real mean. It's super mean.
Yeah, but, I really agree with your point on you can't let him have the bounce outs affect him on the defensive end, and you started to see that creep in tonight. It was just like he was sleepwalking around the rim. Like Detroit was getting a lot of second chance opportunities because the Bulls weren't boxing out in the first half, and I think Vooch was certainly a guilty party there. And something I thought was interesting. I was listening to Stacey King's recent appearance on Zach Lowe's podcast from a couple days ago, and they were talking about how Billy Donovan is just doing such a spectacular job getting the most out of all of these guys in a brand new assembly of teammates and figuring out how to communicate with each of them individually as well as a team. And this guy likes to be coached this way. Stacey was talking about back in the day how Phil Jackson communicated with guys specifically and in different ways. He was a little softer and nicer to Horace, because Horace was like, somebody you had to be gentle with. You kind of had to coddle him a little bit compared to some of the other guys. And I had not heard this before, but Stacey mentioned that is, as far as he has understood it from some channel or another, the way that Billy Donovan operates with Vooch. And maybe just because he has started this season with a slump, maybe because he admitted the trade and the transition from Orlando, which was his home for so long, to Chicago has been difficult for him, but that he handles Vooch with like kid gloves a little bit. And I'm paraphrasing there, but I thought that was interesting. So any Bulls fan out there, if you want Vooch to play better, encourage him, because apparently that's what works for Vooch. That's what we've been trying to do this whole freaking time.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Look, one step forward, two steps back, and then sometimes it's two steps forward, one step back with Vooch. But you have to give him some credit and be optimistic that after 6 awful quarters between Dallas and the first 2 against the Pistons, he responded the way he did in that third quarter that really blew the doors off of this game in the Bulls' favor. Real quick before our next break, thoughts on Lonzo tonight, Big Dave? Just like a classic Lonzo game. At one point, I noticed there was one Bulls defensive possession where he was guarding 3 guys simultaneously, and it was like came around a screen, then went around a double screen the other way. Zach LaVine got lost in the switch somewhere in there, and then Lonzo ended up being the one to contest the shot after running around 8 different screens. And the Bulls didn't control the defensive rebound, and the Pistons got a putback bucket, and it was infuriating. But along with Ayo and Troy Brown Jr., look, Lonzo's not going to be your leading scorer every night, but he had a night like tonight where he was knocking down his threes. I think he had like 18 points. Yeah. But again, the energy and the competent effort on the defensive end is something you get from Lonzo every single night. And with Caruso and Javonte out, they need it.
18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. That's your point guard. Just filling up the stat sheet, going along. 6 of 9 from the field, by the way. 4 of 7 from the 3-point line.
He even hit one mid-range near the end of the game.
Near the end of the game, yeah.
Hit
we were like, what?
What?
What is this? What's he doing in that area? What's he doing there, Lonzo? Oh, it's a blowout. Oh, yeah, work on something. All right, go ahead. Let's go. It's fine. Matt, he does so much stuff. Like that sequence you mentioned is definitely the one I was going to mention for sure. When I saw that, I was just amazed watching him defend 3 people just running all the way around. And then when they didn't get that 50-50 ball and Bay went in and scored and Billy Donovan called that time, you saw Lonzo put his hands on his knees.
Right.
Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys, come on. You know what I'm saying? We got to get that. You see what I'm doing out here, But it was great. It was just like amazing to watch. And I'm like, wow, I can't wait to see this dude in the playoffs. That's all I kept thinking in my head. Like, I can't wait to unleash these dogs right here with Caruso and Ayo on these people in the playoffs, man. They are going to hate this team, man. They're going to just really despise going up 7 games against this team right here. But he's such a leader, Matt. He's just such a good leader. Like, even the play that I believe he stole the ball, he kicked it over to Zach because Zach had went up and I believe he didn't get the foul call on the other end and he missed the easy lay-in. And they got it back, and he gave it to Zach, and he missed that one. And Lonzo got the putback in the and one. When he pulls Lonzo up off the ground, he starts messing with Zach's shoes. You know what I'm saying? He's like he was tying the shoes. Like, hey, man, get your shoes tighter so you can make sure you hit that bucket. And then laughed about it. That little stuff right there. You know what I'm saying? That's the leadership stuff I like. And I look at. I watched Vooch do it earlier when he got a technical foul because Kobe White got punched in the throat with an elbow, and it wasn't called. Yeah. Vooch is the one who stepped up and yelled and took that tech. Again, there's no egos on this team. Everybody likes each other. They're fighting for each other, man. And Lonzo Ball is just the leader of it, Matt. And again, you can't measure his stuff by the stat line. You can't just look at the line and just say that, he had a bad game. That dude controls so many different facets of the game that don't even show up on the stat sheet. But tonight, they definitely showed up on the stat sheet as well.
Beautiful. I mean, just a team win in so many ways. Speaking of which, the Bulls really didn't need much from Zach LaVine tonight, which is nice. We will get to that and some of the thoughts that his coach, Billy Donovan, offered after the game about Zach and their winning ways in just a minute. But first, today's episode brought to you by BetOnline, who want to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the pro football playoffs. We got Wild Card Weekend right around the corner, a few days away. Get your bets ready, people. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all sports bets action in 2022. The new year comes with a new updated desktop and mobile website, So sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Sign up, put $100 in there. They're going to give you $50 extra to play with. Just use promo code Locked On to get started. Football, basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. I know Dave loves those casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline, it's the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and your favorite teams. BetOnline, it's where the game starts.
Yes. Y'all know what it's time for. You know what we here for. You know what we want to talk about. And that's getting you some Built Bars. You know you need them. You know you want them. You know you crave them because you sit around and you want some candy. I know you do. You want to eat something, but you say, oh, man, that's too much sugar. Oh, man, that's going to put that weight on. Oh, man, I'm going to be sluggish through the rest of the day. I can't eat this like that. Where can I go get me some Built Bars, y'all? 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 17 grams of protein, and also 100% real chocolate. All right. And then guess what? They got so many flavors, y'all. You got the peanut butter brownie. You got the raspberry cookies and cream. You got the salted caramel. You got the mint brownie. You got the coconut almond. And of course, they always got a flavor of the month for you. Matthew Peck, can you please tell the people the flavor of the month this month at Built Bar?
Lemon dipped cheesecake. And let me tell you something else. There's an awesome deal available right now. In addition to that flavor of the month, Built.com right now. The Built Bites. They're like the little fun-size Built Bars. The Built Bites, all Built Bite flavors right now. 50% off, Big Dave. 50% off. Get some Built Bites.
Get some Built Bites. And if you tell yourself, you know what, I don't want the bites, I want the bars. How come I can't get something off of that? Well, I tell you what, when you go to Built.com and you use the promo code LOCK15, you'll get 15% off of your order. Whether you want the bites, whether you want the bars, go and take 15% off using that promo code LOCKed15. That's go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKed15. Built Bar. Get you some. Oh.
Amazing. I want a Built Bar for dessert right now. All right. Moving along. One more thing we wanted to talk about, and that is the praise that Billy Donovan had for one of his team's leaders, Zach LaVine, after a night when he had his season low point total of 10. Only took 10 shots. But by the way, was 1 rebound and 3 assists shy of a triple-double. 10, 9, and 7 for Zach LaVine on a night when he said, oh, it's the Pistons? Oh, we got our shit together after 1 bad quarter? Cool. I'm going to hang back. I'm going to get you your shots. I'm going to let you do something. And I'm going to take it easy. Because guess what? We got Brooklyn tomorrow night, and you might need Zach LaVine to do Zach LaVine things tomorrow night. But listen, so much of what Billy Donovan said after this game, I just loved, Dave, because I feel like we don't hear it enough. And there are still people out there who believe that Zach LaVine is a empty calories player. I hate that phrase, and I hate the fact that it's been attached to Zach LaVine for his entire career. Billy Donovan after the game said, quote, he's the ultimate team guy. I think he realizes there's probably a little more help around him than maybe he has had with Vooch and DeMar. He's really a great teammate. He's a great guy. He wants to win. He wants to do the right things. I have a lot of respect and admiration for the way he approaches every day professionally. He's great to work with. He's great to be around. A game like today speaks to me of his greatness, end quote. That's Billy Donovan after a night when Zach LaVine had his lowest point total of the season.
Dude, yes, Matt. Preach it. I watched him say that when I was watching the postgame show, and that's the word that got me when he said greatness. I said, oh, oh, that's a word you don't just be throwing around out there. You mean that stuff when you say it, man. When he throw out that word greatness, that's a dude who I know is really trying to win this year. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just with this team. When you're using words like that with people, when you're talking about championship mentalities, you know what I'm saying? Being championship ready and using terms like greatness of a player. He just say he's a great player. He talked about his greatness that he has. That's huge. I love the game that he had, Matt, because he was just like, oh, I don't have to force it. I don't have to do anything. And you're right. Billy Donovan was like, he's the most unselfish dude. He was like, he's a superstar. All this. He was like, but he's super unselfish. Again, that plays to the no egos on this team. You know what I'm saying? It's just not what it is because Zach sets the tone because this was Zach LaVine's squad coming in. He sets that tone and lets you know what it is and how this team's going to operate. If it ain't about winning, they not with it. It's really that simple. Man, Matt, 10, 9, and 7. And then on top of that, DeMar DeRozan with 20, 12, and 7. He was just 3 assists short of a triple-double himself. So, and these guys were chilling, man. And it was so great to not see them really in the fourth quarter. No, you know what I mean? It was great to see the legend Matt Thomas just be out there going crazy in the fourth quarter. It was just really great to see.
I saw that tweet of yours, by the way. The greatest player to ever wear a Bulls 21 jersey.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. Everybody's up in arms. You guys are so sensitive. I said he's vying for the title of being the one to be the greatest 21 ever. I didn't say he has it. He's got more work to do. Obviously, he's in the top 3, but he's got more work to do, okay? Come on, guys.
Go to bed, Dave. Go to bed.
He went off. Matt. He went off. Oh, I loved every second of it. Come on, Matt Thomas. Do your thing, baby. But yeah, Matt, like hearing him say that stuff about Zach LaVine just always makes me excited that he is the coach of the team that I really love. And it's just really great to hear, man. I can't even imagine what that does for confidence-wise for a guy like Zach LaVine. Hearing a coach that good talk about you in that kind of way on a game in a game that you really didn't do too much, but he looked at everything that you did. He looked at your whole entire game and saw what you really did out there on that floor. For me, that says a lot. And yeah, I expect a big game out of Zach tomorrow for real.
Because, and that's the great thing. DeMar, Zach, Vooch, and Lonzo, none of them played 30 minutes tonight. None of them.
Crazy.
29 or fewer. And look, one more series of quotes from Billy that I loved after this game about Zach being a team guy. He is as great of a guy as you can imagine being around. Billy Donovan's been around a lot of basketball players. And I know people seeing his athleticism and the running and the jumping and the talent and the skill, but people have no idea what kind of person he is. They have no idea how unselfish he is, how important his teammates are to him. Maybe in the past with some of the teams, the points can be viewed as meaningless because they didn't win. But that's not a reflection on him. Let me repeat that. Not a reflection on him. Just being around him for a year and a half, I've seen a side of him from the beginning that he really just wants to win. How many times were you and me and our good pal John Sabine sitting there on an Outsiders show after another Bulls loss, and we got people flooding our comments, Zach LaVine, not a winner, not a winner, not a winner. And Zach is just exhausted in the locker room. He dropped 38 on, 14 of 19 from the floor. And the Bulls look, because he was out there playing with Selden, two Sampsons, an Antonio Blakeney, a Felicio, a killed draft pick. What do you want this guy to do? Thank you, Billy Donovan, for saying what needed to be said by someone who has been around the NBA and great basketball players college and NBA, his entire professional life, saying, Zach, not a winning player, never made sense to me. Dude needed some help. And when he got help, it doesn't matter. On a night like tonight, he scores 10 points, and he's happy because they got the one thing that matters, and that's the victory.
That's all that matters in the end, Matt. And that's what's important to this team is winning. And so that's all they're focused on. So that's what we going to be focused on. 27-11, guys. 27-11. Let's go get 28. Oh,
let's do it. Second night of a back-to-back. Brooklyn Nets coming to Chicago. The Bulls 2-0 against the Nets so far. Harden and Kyrie both questionable as of here Tuesday night, whether or not they will play against the Bulls on Wednesday. So we'll see. We could see the Bulls against the Big Three for the first time, or it might be the Kevin Durant show. Either way, tougher competition than these Detroit Pistons. No offense to them. So the Bulls trying to keep that spot and keep some distance as the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. The number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can't wait to do it again tomorrow, my friend. That's Big Dave.
Yes.
I'm Matt. Hit us up on the social medias at Bulls_Peck and BOW, BAWL Sports on Twitter. We're at Locked On Bulls. And that text to voicemail line 331-979-1369. Hit us up with your texts and your voicemails. Until next time, Bulls Nation, see red, be good. Thank the lucky stars for Zach LaVine. Peace out.
Woo!